Lots has been happening in the strongman world, from World's Strongest Man news, Europe's Strongest Man, the Arnold Strongman Classic and retirements, and a whole lot more. So let's get into it. So starting off with World's Strongest Man news, what's been happening?
Well, we put our news video out a little bit early last week. It was on the Wednesday. And since then, we've actually had 8 more athlete confirmations. Just 3 spots left now. So I think the most surprising to me confirmation, but pleasantly surprised, is Trey Mitchell.
Yeah, Trey Mitchell coming back from his torn Achilles. I mean, that has to be one of the quickest recoveries we've seen. Be interesting to see what kind of shape he's in when it gets to Worlds. I actually saw Trey at the Arnolds last weekend.
Yeah.
And he says his goal is to make the final. So, the last few years he's been a real contender. If he can get back and get to the final and get himself confident, it's a good sign for things going forward. But he looks to be training really hard.
Yeah. So to reel them off, also confirmed is Bobby Thompson from the USA, Marcus Crowder from the USA, Wesley Davinsky from Canada, Mateusz Kieliszkowski from Poland, Evans Nana, who'll be representing Ghana, Nathan Galtry from the USA, and Christian John Haraldsson from Iceland.
Really good mix of old and new there. Very excited to see Kieliszkowski back, obviously. We spoke to him a few months ago. He wasn't sure if he was going to do Worlds. An amazing performance last weekend at the Arnolds. He's in good shape. Good to see him going to Worlds, especially after last year's Worlds where it wasn't the best performance for him. Bobby Thompson going back to World's Strongest Man. Bobby and Worlds, he doesn't like the stone off, so he's going to have to make sure he's in good shape. He's certainly not the only one. I know Kieliszkowski doesn't like it as well. But some new faces there as well. Marcus Crowder, Wesley Dawinsky, Evans Nana, Nathan Galtry, all new athletes, but all hungry to do well. So lots of new faces to look forward to this year at World's Strongest Man.
And those 3 from OSG.
Yes.
So it is, OSG was always supposed to be sort of Tour Giants Live to a World's Strongest Man, but for the last few years they're going straight in.
Yeah, the top 3 at OSG have all qualified for World's Strongest Man the last 2 years in a row. So if you are up and coming and want to be seen, that is the place to go to. So only 3 spaces left for World's Strongest Man currently. Now that can change. We've seen leading up to Worlds, there's injuries, people pull out, etc. Yeah. But right now, only 3 spaces left.
I don't know if you saw or heard, or if I told you, Oscar was confirmed on Twitter, and then it was deleted.
Which Oscar?
Zielkowski. Yeah.
I'd be surprised if he's not doing it.
He's going.
He's got to be.
Yeah, he is doing it.
He did very well in a lot of competitions last year. I know the Arnolds wasn't the best result for him last weekend, but other than that, he's done very, very well.
He had a great year. He won the Strongman Champions League final. He won OSG Europes. He won the Amateur Arnolds. He had a great year.
He did indeed. And he's a fantastic athlete. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't in there. But we've got Europe's Strongest Man coming up, and Giants Live have announced the lineup for that. And the top 3 from that will guarantee spots at World's Strongest Man.
Yes. Yes, it will. Oscar's not doing this one, interestingly, but yes, it will.
Very quickly, to run through the lineup for Europe's, it's a great list. You've got 3 former Europe's Strongest Man winners, starting off with Luke Stoltman, Pavlo Kordiaka, Alexei Novikov, Mateusz Kieliszkowski doing Europe's Strongest Man, Ivor Schmautstelis, Shane Flowers, Konstantin Janasha coming back, Gav Bilton, Rauno Heinler, Andre Foitu, Frederick Johansson, Nick Camby and Paro Dwyer. That is a Europe's Strongest Man lineup. This is the kind of Europe's Strongest Man I've wanted to see for a long time. Lots of representation, lots of fantastic athletes. This is an exciting show.
It's probably the best Europe's Strongest Man lineup we've had since pre-COVID.
Absolutely. I mean, 3 former champions there, plus Kieliszkowski, plus the likes of Ivers and Shane, returning Janasha. Janasha's always an interesting one because he's done very well at Europe's in the past. He hasn't had the best couple of years, but I'd certainly never count him out. And if he comes in shape, he can cause people problems.
Yeah, and can we remind ourselves of the events for Europe's Strongest Man?
Well, the events are very similar to World's Strongest Man, so this is a good chance for the athletes to see how they're doing, really. Yeah. We saw it last year in terms of the Conan Circle was at Europe's, and then it was at World's Strongest Man, and the likes of Pavlo Kordiak are absolutely smashing it, Alexei Novikov, etc. Just so you guys know, the events are the Nickel Stones, the Car Walk, the Deadlift Ladder, Viking Press, and the Atlas Stones. standard events, other than the nickel stones, that's a little bit of a tricky one, but it is something that's kind of become very popular in the last year or two. I like these events for Luke Stoltman.
Do you know what? Yeah, I've liked them for Luke Stoltman the minute they were announced. Now I've seen Mateusz on the Dinny stones. I really like them for Mateusz too. That was the question mark for me. I know the deadlift ladder's in there, but this isn't... He's not up against the best deadlifters in the world.
No, you've got Rauno, you've got Janasha, but there's not the whole host of incredible deadlifters. There's a whole, a number of athletes there that are beatable, particularly on this type of deadlift, where maybe just doing 3 fast is going to pick up points. But defending champion is Pavlo Kordiaka. He had a great start to last year, did amazing at Worlds, despite the issue with the shield carry. Second half of the year wasn't so good. He wants to show people he's back in form and one of the best in the world. And Alexei Novikov, a lot of people are writing him off because they haven't seen him do too well recently. If you actually look at his results from the Arnolds, he hit some PBs in that competition.
Yeah, he did,
it was never good events for him. However, these look much, much better.
So recent competition news, obviously, unless you've been living under a rock, you will know that the Arnold Strongman Classic happened last weekend and the Arnold Strong Woman Classic as well. So winner of the Arnolds in the end was Mitchell Hooper, with Mateusz Kieliszkowski coming in second and Tom Stoltman in third place. So Tom's first podium there. Another second place for Mateusz and another win for Mitch.
Yeah, very, very good competition. Unfortunately, a couple of injuries that are going to affect the UK Arnolds in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we just don't know what the impact is. We know Maxime has confirmed he's doing it.
Yeah.
Tom has said he's 50-50. It sounded like less than 50-50 to me. But we don't have a confirmed refresh lineup.
We do know that Mitch is doing it, Thor is doing it.
Yeah.
Oscar's doing it.
Yes, Oscar's doing it. Maxime.
Lucas Hatton, Maxime.
Yeah.
Gav Bilton.
Yes.
And Bobby Thompson.
Oh, and Bobby.
So still a very strong lineup for the men's side.
And then on the women's side of the competition, debutante Angelica Jardine won the Arnold Strong Woman Classic. This was her first proper, I guess. I mean, she did the amateur Arnolds last year and made the podium, but this was her first real big international competition.
She was unbelievable.
She was
so good to watch. Her day 2 performance was just mind-blowing. Just crazy natural strength. Her ability to just pick up awkward objects. And she is coming to the UK as well. So we get to see her in Birmingham in a week's time.
Yeah. And then it was Lucy Underdown and Olga Lyshuk that they actually tied on points in the end.
I think Olga's been on the podium at the Arnolds a number of times now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a consistent performer. And Lucy, just the last couple of years, just really burst onto the scene. She broke the elephant bar deadlift on the women's side.
Yes, she did.
Can't wait to see what she can do later in the year on some big deadlifts. But looking forward to seeing her at Birmingham as well.
Now, Lord knows I looked absolutely everywhere for full results for all of the weight classes, because we also have the amateur Arnold competitions. We've got the open weight, but then there are weight classes as well. Could I find them, Lozzie?
It's a difficult one to find. I've actually sent out a few messages to see if we can get some up-to-date results. However, I really enjoyed watching the amateur Arnolds on the weekend. I had a couple of clients competing that did very well, but all the athletes were so good. Lots of, fantastic performances, lots of camaraderie, just what we want to see from the sport, because it's a tough competition, long, brutal weekend of strongman, very long days, but every single athlete working hard, putting on performances, and the winner of the men's show was Nick Guardian. That guy is an absolute beast, trains in a staple of incredible strongmen. And the winner of the women's was Jennifer Lyle. So congratulations to both of those athletes. We're going to see them at some bigger shows in the not too distant future.
And sad news for Strong Woman fans, Victoria Long has announced that the Arnold Strong Woman Classic would be her last competition.
Really sad to see Victoria retire. In my opinion, she is the best strong woman on the planet.
She is.
And, if we quickly just have a little look at what she's achieved in a short career, she hasn't done that many competitions. No. But second place at World's Strongest Woman 2019, that was her first big international competition. First place, America's Strongest Woman 2021. First place, 2022 Arnold Pro Strongwoman. First place, 2022 Shaw Classic Women's Open. First place, America's Strongest Woman 2022. First place, 2023 Arnold Strongwoman Classic. She is an incredible all-round athlete. She'll be missed in the sport. very short career. It kind of reminds me of Yuko Ahola, really. Just burst onto the scene, dominated, and then she's done. It's sad. I'm going to see if we can get hold of her and maybe do a talking strongman with her, because I think thoroughly deserves it. She's been an inspiration and she's raised the level for the other women to chase. So good luck in your future, Victoria. We wish you the best.
So we now have the lineup for the Strongman Champions League England, which is going to take place on the 28th of September at the Hangar in Wolverhampton. So
I wrongly said it was Gloucester, didn't I?
It was you, yeah. You
it was because it was Gloucester the year before.
Yeah.
And I was hoping it would be in Gloucester because I was, I lived in Gloucester for a while.
Yeah, but you're not even going to be there.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. But amazing competition. Great lineup. Yeah. Starting off with Gav Bilton, Kane Francis, Shane Flowers, Pavlo Kordiaka, Rongo Keane, Evans Nana, Ivor Schmaxtus, Kelvin de Ruyter, Oscar Zilkowski, Andre Invernizzi and Paddy Haynes. That's a fantastic lineup of athletes.
And that's before they have the qualifiers as well, the British qualifiers.
That's true.
Yeah, so great lineup so far. And there is going to be also some record attempts by some of the strong women. Rebecca Roberts and Naomi Hadley are going to be there too.
That'd be really cool. Make sure if you're free that weekend, you get to Wolverhampton. There is a link in the description below. So that's it for this week, Lizzie. We are wrapping up the news there. We'll be back next week as we get closer and closer to the Arnold Strongman and Strongwoman UK show. Yeah. That's going to be a fun one. Hope you all have a great week. We'll catch you soon.